Hello and welcome to another episode of our Equity Research and Market Analysis series with Chris Thompson from eResearch. Today, we are discussing an important commodity that has the potential to improve the performance of lithium-ion batteries, which is manganese. Hello, Chris. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on your show today.
You're quite welcome. So, one of your most recent reports is an industry report that sheds light on manganese. What is the scope of this report?
Yeah, so the report covers an overview of manganese itself for those who are unfamiliar with that element. It looks at the manganese supply and demand, how it's being used right now, which is mostly in steel, but battery use is becoming quite high in the electric vehicle battery market. We look at companies that are operating in this space. So we give a general overview of the 24 company, and we organize them, from exploration all the way to producer. And then we have a small company spotlight on the sponsoring company, which is Alcora Advanced Materials. And they have a small project in Morocco that they're working on, and they're actually mining it right now and using some old stockpiles. And they help to help pay for the report to defray some of the costs.
Let's get back to basics here. What are the uses of manganese?
Yeah, so manganese is a chemical element. The symbol is Mn for those who are trying to remember chemistry in their periodic table from high school. The atomic number is 25. And it's one of the most commonly used industrial metals in the world. And it's sort of in line with iron and aluminum and copper. And it's often combined with those materials to form alloys to make the metal stronger. And as I mentioned, anywhere from 85 to 90% of the manganese now is used in the production of steel as an alloy to make it stronger. And so when you're looking at consumption patterns for manganese, it sort of follows that market. So right now, we're in a little bit of a slump. The world economy is sort of pausing, taking a bit of a breath here. But there's still a lot of demand for manganese because it's used in a lot of different applications as well. I mentioned batteries before, but it's also used in chemical processes, pigments and fertilizers and other chemicals. And when we look at the future of manganese, it really plays an important role in the lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. It's used in to help stabilize the battery, and it helps to make sure that the battery has a long life, which is important for these batteries, and that the battery is stable and can be used without the risk of fire. And it's sort of been talked about as a cheaper element than, say, cobalt, and used more than cobalt to help reduce the cost of the batteries. And when we're talking about electric vehicles and their battery, important thing is the range. And so they want to have a stable battery, but you have what they call a higher energy density, which means that you can drive the car for longer. And so these are the important things of why manganese has played an important is going to play an important role in the EV future, and currently right now plays a very important role in the production of steel.
Yeah, it is a vital commodity indeed, but why now? Why has it garnered more interest now?
Yeah, so I think when you're looking at steel production, you're looking at a lot of the what they call the infrastructure projects are coming on board. A lot of the countries are trying to rebuild a lot of the infrastructure. The U.S. has announced last year and passed a bill to try to rebuild roads and bridges. So you need steel. You need to have these alloys that use manganese in it. As I mentioned, it's now becoming an important part of a lot of the battery chemistries for the electric vehicles. And they're adding the manganese in for its ability to stabilize the battery, meaning that it won't catch fire, as well as to improve the energy density and also to reduce the weight. It is a lighter metal, so it helps to make the batteries lighter, which also then helps to give the EVs a much longer life on the road. And right now, for manganese companies, what they're looking at is that a lot of these EV battery manufacturers are looking to secure their supply chain. So they're looking at either buying in or forming long-term relationships. And you need to have high quality manganese for this. And that's what's important out there. And some of these deposits, on the battery side need to be high quality. And that's what's putting a little more, interest into these areas of the high grade manganese mines. As well as, what they're looking at now is that because of this demand increasing, especially in the battery metal space, there could be supply deficits as early as 2024, and especially for the battery grade manganese deposits, which may have a deficit maybe by 2027 as the EV batteries ramp up. And finally, we're looking at friendly places to get supply chains of materials, and that the companies need to lock down. From the whole value chain, they need to lock down these sources and make sure that there are places where they can get it from. Right now, major suppliers of manganese come from South Africa, Gabon, Australia, and China. South Africa is having periodic issues with electrical supply. Gabon just had a coup. And so companies that are focused on, source, where it's coming from, what is the ESG, is it environmentally mined? These are all important factors. And manganese is just another one of these battery metals that need to be secured for these manufacturers.
Lots of developments that bode well for the price of manganese, I suppose. Thank you very much, Chris, for your insights. Thank you very much. And you can go to the eResearch website to download the report. And hopefully the investors will get a good overview.